ES Audio. From the Evening Standard in London, I'm Rachel Abbott and this is The Leader. Today we're giving you some bonus content taken from our business show, How to Be a CEO. It's an opportunity to hear from the most powerful people behind some of the world's biggest brands. This is actually a cut-down version of the full episode. To hear the full thing, you'll need to hit the link in the show notes. Find a new episode of How to Be a CEO every Monday morning, and why not give it a rate, review, and follow whilst you're there. Now, let's begin.
Formula E is set to electrify the streets of London.
All 5 lights are on. It's Lipton.
Racing trying to go around the outside of Nick de Vries. Can't quite pull it off. 3 wide further back. Tom Blomqvist getting fed out into the wall. And it was Cassidy and Jake Dennis. And Dennis has now tapped the back of Antonio Felix da Costa. The two Audis are going side by side. René Rast on the outside of the drop down.
Formula E, motorsport, but not as you know it. Electric cars tearing through city streets at up to 174 miles per hour. A 21st century spectacular drawing in passionate crowds.
You go to Mexico, you get 40,000, 50,000 people. You go to Indonesia, you go to places, like London here, for example, but like Rome, we get like over 10 million people watching the race live on TV every time.
Alejandro Agag is the founder and chairman of Formula E, a racing tournament that pushes electric vehicle tech to its limits and is coming into its own just as the world is looking for energy alternatives.
Mercedes, for example, decided to stop. I call them and I say that they're having the last combustion party because combustion is going to be banned.
I'm David Marsden from the Evening Standard, and this is How to Be a CEO.
If I would have known many of the things I learned on the way, I might have not done it.
When you did start Formula E, I guess, was the ambition to make it as big as Formula One?
We always thought Formula E and Formula One were compatible championships, and they are compatible championships. And of course, Formula One has a history that Formula E can never achieve because we were not there in 1950 and they were. So it's not really comparable. And the aim is not necessarily be as big as Formula One. The aim is to be big. And then let's see what the future holds, no? But yeah, we are big fans of Formula One. I'm personally a very big fan of Formula One. And Formula One is doing great. The motorsport, Formula One is doing great. We're all on the same boat. We compete against golf, we compete against tennis, but motorsport, it's kind of one big sport that if Formula One does well, we also do well.
But I'd imagine it'd probably be similar kinds of people going to them. But it is a different thing. In particular, the cars themselves, of course, they are electric vehicles. You're talking about Formula One going back to the 1950s, and the cars there, the innovations there, end up on the roads for the consumers as well. Is there a similar path for EVs being used in Formula E?
Absolutely, and even bigger now in EVs because of the stage of development of the technology. EVs are at an early stage still of development of technology, and they can get very quickly a lot of learnings from competition. One very quick learning that you can transfer from the race to the road car is the software that is used to control the systems, to control the battery, the energy flow, all the cooling. Cooling is hugely important for electric cars, and racing has the most advanced cooling of all, so you can transfer also those lessons. Battery technology, of course, efficiency of powertrain, and so on and so forth. So really, there is a lot of things that can be transferred from the racing to the road cars, which was the case always also with combustion, with Formula One and with other championships. Even the rear view mirror comes from a race in Indianapolis. And now every car in the world has a rear view mirror, something as simple as that.
I didn't know that, actually. People talk about the environmentally friendly nature of an electric vehicle, but Alejandro, is an electric vehicle actually environmentally friendly? Is it a perfect solution?
100%. And, there is a lot of people who want to mislead and want to confuse things because they are enemies of the electric cars for one reason or another. They immediately say, oh, yeah, but the batteries also pollute, so let's stay with gasoline. One simple fact, even if you get the energy from the grid, from the normal mix, which includes coal, even if you were to get all your energy from coal, imagine, okay? The efficiency of the combustion engine, it's around 20%. All the rest, what happens in your car, in your engine, you only use 20% of the energy that you get from the fuel to move your tires forward. 80% is lost in heat, in noise, in different things. The efficiency of a coal power station, it's about 90%. So all that energy is transformed into electricity that you charge your car with, and the efficiency of the electric car engine is 90%. Right. So only because of that, electric cars are 4 times more sustainable. Even if you produce the energy with coal or with fuel, if you produce the energy with solar, you are infinite times more environmentally friendly. Of course, the batteries have problems. Of course, nothing is perfect, but there is no comparison how much more environmentally friendly electric cars are. And on top of it, they don't produce toxic particles, which are the ones that the NOx, that are the ones that produce all the really ugly contamination in cities that produces huge, massive health problems for the population. So, of course, to pollute is bad, but it's much better to pollute in the middle of nowhere than in the middle of a city where people are.
Definitely true. You talked about the batteries there a couple of times and sort of issues around those. I understand that you have another startup which is looking at solutions to that issue of recycling batteries. Is that right?
Yeah, Gigamine, that is looking at recycling batteries. The recycling of batteries is going to be a very big part of the equation. Batteries are still not coming back in a massive way because electric cars are being really developed, really adopted in these years. This year we're seeing a real inflection point on the number of sales of electric cars. And these batteries last for a long time. The car will use its battery for 20 years, 25 years, 30 years. So we will see a lot of these batteries coming back to be recycled maybe in 15 or 20 years, the first batch, let's say. But these batteries can have a second life when they lose the level of efficiency or the level of performance they need for a car. After that second life, you may want to recycle them. But, we are looking at technologies that can recycle up to 99% of all the materials that are in a battery. And one of the main challenges, if we want to keep up with the production of electric cars and the projections, is going to be the supply of these raw materials that you need for them: copper, lithium, nickel, and so on and so forth. Recycling is going to be a key part of getting back some of those materials.
I need a battery recharge myself, so let's take a break. While the ads are on, why not give yourself a speed challenge? How fast can you rate, review, and follow this podcast? Quicker than a commercial break? Let's find out. Were you expecting to be at this level where you are right now from when it started?
For me, the expectation was only to be alive. So, of course, we are a lot better than what I expected when we started, a lot better. It's grown fantastically well. It's really gathered a huge awareness, especially in many countries. But, you go to Mexico, you get 40,000, 50,000 people. You go to Indonesia, we get like over 10 million people watching the race live on TV every time. You go to places, like London here, for example, but like Rome, you get huge crowds. So it's really getting awareness, which wasn't easy in the beginning because people were like, oh, these cars don't make noise. So on that sense, it's gone really well. We got a lot of car manufacturers in. Some left, some came back in. There is a lot of movement in the grid, but it's really, it's incredible brands. We just got Maserati and McLaren to sign up for the championship next season.
I guess for you, given the trials and the tribulations of just getting this thing off the ground, having those names, those brands involved with you must be really vindicating for your idea.
Very much. It's like a confirmation, and I never thought that McLaren, for example, would come into a championship like this, but they have, which is also a sign of how things are changing in general in the world. Some others have left, like Mercedes, for example, decided to stop. I called them. I'm very good friends with Toto Wolff, with the team principal of Mercedes, and I told them that they're having the last combustion party, because combustion is going to be banned, so it's a finish. Combustion is going to finish. It's going to be banned in 2030 and 2035.
Yeah.
And I give you the example is like, imagine you like wine, and they tell you in 2030 you cannot drink more wine. Then you start drinking a lot of wine now. That's what they're doing. I think that they're racing as much as they can with gasoline until they cannot race anymore with gasoline, and then they will come back.
Yeah, I guess when that comes in, various countries over the world are doing this. That's going to be, it's a good thing for Formula E, isn't it?
Of course, because we are not going to be banned.
That was Alejandro Agag. If you're interested in electric vehicles and how they could shape the future, check out the Evening Standard's Plug It In campaign, where you can find out how EVs are shaping the future and guides on which one might be best for you. Search Evening Standard, Plug It In.